Chapter 8, 2020 Vision. By the time the new year had rolled around, I was preparing for a battle. I felt the atmosphere changing, but it was still early, and the plague had not made its way around to shut us down yet. I had already begun the year off with my fast. I decided the best way was to go on a fast for 30 days and then off for 30 days. My final fasting would be the 40-day Esther fast that I saw Lou Engle had called Christians to do previously. During this year, the plague had come and wreaked havoc on people's lives, and ours was no different. Jack's job was the government. He was bullied day and night by not taking the vaccination. It seemed as if several times a day he would receive emails about getting the vaccination or losing his job. He was feeling betrayed by the government because of all of his years in the military and supporting our government. Have you ever heard the saying, when it rains, it pours? Well, it seems as if we were directly under a spout, and the downpour was never going to stop. On top of the plague and the bullying, Elizabeth and her husband had begun an ugly divorce. Separated and in another state with a friend, my daughter found herself in trouble when she was arrested for purchasing stolen goods. This put her in prison for a year, and her ex-husband took the children and bolted. I felt as if I was going to die. First Elizabeth, and now my grandchildren were gone. I wanted to scream, but I knew the devil and his tricks. I have dealt with baby stealers before. I know the devil likes to keep children from their calling. My daughter Elizabeth had been stolen twice, once by my sister, and the next by the devil, and was trafficked. My son Alex was stolen by his dad when we were going through a separation. I was not letting the devil get away with any of it anymore. God had revealed to me that those doors needed to be shut by him. I had tried to shut them by myself and was unsuccessful, leaving a foothold for the devil to come back through. If I wanted my grandchildren back in our lives, I needed to let God deal with the situation and shut the door so no man can open them back. Isaiah 22:22. The key of the house of David I will lay on his shoulder. So he shall open and no one shall shut, and he shall shut and no one shall open. We must have faith that God is taking care of our concerns and our worries. We must teach our children this as well. I did not raise my children to know the Lord. I mean, they knew who he was, and we went to church sporadically, but I was not God fearing at all. Their biological father was religious. His idea of women in the church was to keep quiet, so my children, like me, were very confused about the real Father in heaven. There was so much warfare during this time of fasting. God was lighting me up with revelation, and I was drawing all my strength from him. I had a lot to learn. I was never a good mother, so I was being taught about tough love and being corrected on my role as a mother. I wanted to be a friend and a fun parent. I was also learning my role as a wife. Since I grew up with dominant women, my ideal was not God's. Submission is a hard thing to learn when one keeps a secular feminist mindset. Growing up in the 80s, we were all about women being equal to men. But that is the devil's lie. Being dominant in a marriage is not the woman's role. We were made for our husbands. I was always a maybe mother. You know, the one who won't say yes or no but gives maybe as an answer. This is not a good mom. I never let my no mean no or my yes mean yes. God was showing me all of this. I did not discipline my children nor set boundaries. It seemed easier to not argue with them as teenagers and let them do their own thing. You could tell I was a single mom with no guidance from the Lord. As my children got older, they learned the hard way about consequences. My daughter Elizabeth soon settled down, married, and had 3 children. She was in the children's ministry for the past 10 years, so I knew when she ended up in jail it was a mistake she made. She was not out doing anything wrong, she just trusted the wrong person. During her unfortunate incarceration, God was showing me how to set boundaries. For the first 5 months of her being in prison, I was not allowed to answer the phone. It was so hard. I remember praying and praying about her. God was assuring me he was with her as well. Something else happened at that time that transformed my home. My heart was hurting for my daughter and my grandchildren. They were still with us every weekend until school let out that summer. I needed the Lord to comfort us all. I needed his word in the air so the children could hear God speaking to them and comfort them. I needed it for myself and for my husband as well. I needed more of God in me and less of me and the pain I was feeling. During one of my morning prayers and worship, I heard the Lord tell me that I needed to be pouring the word of promise over my grandchildren. I asked, Lord, how do I read the Bible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week over them? A couple of hours after hearing this, I received a call from my friend who went to EJS with me. My friend Tammy said she had heard from the Lord and he told her to call me and tell me I needed to read the Bible to my grandchildren. I laughed and said, he told me to do the same thing, but did he tell you how I should do it? Her reply was no, he did not specify. After getting off the phone, I remembered that in a video that the church put out, someone mentioned audible and spoken word. I had also remembered that a couple of years prior, we were given an Alexa Echo and it was somewhere in my house. After finding it, I asked Jack how I could make the Bible come out of the speaker. He said the only way it would work was through Amazon. That was where I found Audible, the audiobook store. I soon had my one Echo hooked up and playing the spoken word, a dramatic reading of the Old and New Testaments. I was moving it around everywhere the children were so they could absorb his word. Soon, Jack had ordered a couple more Echoes. I had 6 going throughout my home. I learned how to sync them, and the whole house was now a storybook. To this day, our home still has the Bible flowing through it night and day. Adding the Bible in the air transformed my home. It is the most peaceful home, and it allowed my grandchildren to have peace while they were here. It has helped me, my husband, and both my children in their walk with the Lord. My home is secure and the devil is not allowed. A few times he's tried to come in, but my home is a place to worship the Lord. Warning, people will manifest when they let demons get the better of them. This has happened a couple of times in my home, especially in the beginning. I had a sister that used to come and visit, but adding the word in the air, she won't even call me anymore. The last time she came over, she was planning to stay the night, but she soon made an excuse and left. It saddened me, however, she wasn't the last one to run out and not the worst. Putting the Bible on in my home has helped me with opening the line of communication with the Lord. Not just me, but Jack as well. I find myself and him in open conversations with God in our home. We soon got to where we stopped asking if we were talking to the other person when we realized we were both talking to the Lord. My Bible goes on all night as well. I often wake up and find myself listening and praying. I had guests at my home tell me they couldn't sleep with it on, but I didn't buy it. It takes getting used to, but so does everything else we do in life. If we can't sleep with the word on, then my suggestion is to listen to it until you fall asleep. God probably has something to tell you. During fasting, the word in the air helps with focusing on God instead of what we're not eating. Often when I feel hungry, I'll just lie down and listen. My hunger may feel physical, but in reality, it's a spiritual. My last few months with my grandchildren at our home were influenced by God. I'm grateful that the Lord had my friend call me and confirm what I heard. I was fasting, listening to the word, and using tough love on my daughter Elizabeth. God had me to go 5 months with no contact from her. I missed her so much, but I knew my father was showing me how to set up boundaries. I had to do what God wanted me to do, whether it was painful or not. It was Christmas Eve when I finally got the chance to talk to her. She called, and for the first time in over 150 days, I answered. It was bittersweet. I missed her and I loved her so much, but I could not see or hug her. Being a parent is never easy, no matter how old our babies are. I was praying for my children, both grown, to return home and get guidance from the Lord. I had screwed up as a parent, and I needed the Lord to correct them in His loving way. Soon my son and his wife moved to Texas to join us, and my daughter came home. You see, when you have no boundaries, you teach your children the same thing. We are entrusted by God with our children. They are our blessings.